Welcome, gamers, to otakusandgeeks.com. Justin here, and today we are back with more video game reviews, and we are going to be talking about the game Blade Chimera, which is available now on your Nintendo Switch and Steam PC devices. As always, I give you a brief synopsis overview of the game, so without further ado, here we go. You are Shin, a demon hunter with no memory of his past. After striking an unusual partnership with Lux, a demon with the ability to shapeshift into a sword and manipulate time, you begin a quest to learn what happened to you and your loved ones, fight brutal battles against terrible demons, explore a corrupt and dangerous world, and regain what once was yours. Overall, I would say the story is definitely a crowd pleaser. I like the character of Shin. And yes, they do have the lost memory tropes for this. So it kind of gives you that blank canvas of a character. But in this particular world, in this particular setting, this actually works for Shin as a character because we get to learn a little bit more about Shin, the organization that he's working for as a demon hunter, and a little bit about his companion Lux throughout the game. And it's told through various in-game dialogue, cutscenes, of things that we were able to interact with the actual story. So I will have to give the story some points. Of course, we keep it spoiler free, so I apologize if that seems very vague, but just know that the story is very entertaining and it does have some good character moments. Let's talk a little bit about the gameplay and graphics of Blade Chimera because Blade Chimera is very fun. I really did enjoy the gameplay of this. I don't play Metrovania games that much, but I as a casual Metrovania fan, when I saw the trailer, I saw the graphics, I saw the gameplay, read about the concept, I was like, you know what, I got to give this a shot. And I'm really glad that I did because what I really like about this particular game is the addition of Lux. Yes, you have your standard weapons such as your shurikens, your swords, your cleavers, your guns, but the introduction of Lux, your demon companion, really elevates the combat in the game because the abilities that Lux can do, such as time manipulation abilities, where not only Lux can restore objects that were either destroyed, but she can actually break down walls that have been built up and restore it back to a time where the wall wasn't built so you can actually go to that new location. Yes, there's also things in this game such as finding items or keys that unlock other doors, and yes, you leaving the room and coming back, the enemies will respawn. All that Metrovania goodness is there, but I will say that the strongest seller point for me and the most enjoyment for me was unlocking abilities for Lux and the ability to use Lux and what you're able to do with that, just to be able to transform tools for combat and platforming. I like to think of it as, and I know this might be a bastardization of a comparison, but for my DC fans out there, think of the Green Lantern constructs and the way the lanterns are able to construct things when it comes to battles. This is similar to that in vein, only that obviously we can't just there's not constructs that we can choose. We were very limited, but I like to think of it as that of that type of concept of Lux being able to construct things to help us get to where we need to get to. And as far as the exploration goes, since this is a Metrovania game, which actually has a really good, decent sized map, and credit to the developers for this, because when you reach a certain point in the game, it doesn't take you long. You're able to teleport back, and it really helps with backtracking. All you have to do is open up your map, click on one of the boxes that you have traveled to. You have to travel there in order to warp back there, and you can warp back there. It's a great mechanic when you're either stuck, you're lost, you don't know where to go, and if you want to just reset to where you were before, you can go. It makes backtracking so much easier, and especially since the enemies respawn constantly once you leave a room. I can really appreciate that. Now, as far as boss battles go, the boss battles was actually really challenging, really good as well. Combat is challenging too. As you progress through the game, you are going to die. There's no way around it. And credit to you if you have those skills that you can play this game through without any hits or any damage or dying or anything of that nature. But I found the combat for someone who's a casual Metrovania fan who doesn't play as much games like this. I found the combat to be fair. There are enemies in here where Lux's abilities are going to be essential. There's some enemies that you can do more damage if you decide to go melee combat. There's some enemies that you will be more better for you to use Lux as a shield and you just either throwing your shuriken or shooting your gun at them. And the game tailors to those type of scenarios where you have to really think about how you're going to approach a particular enemy, because there's enemies that sometimes they just throw things. There's enemies that charge, so you have to use your dodge button to evade them and then turn around and hit them. So there's a lot of strategy to this. And yes, there's moments in here I have to admit I did get lost, but they do have indicators on the map on where you have to go. You just have to figure out which direction, which path works for you. And there's times where you might have forgotten an item that you need to get to the next location or next segment of the game. You will have to backtrack. Thankfully, you'll have the warp, so you can just go back there, pick up the item, and then warp back to exactly the same position that you're in. So as far as the gameplay goes, I will say pretty damn solid. So let's talk a little bit about the graphics here. So the graphics, I'll keep it short and sweet. I love the graphics. I like the pixel use of animation here, a little 2.5 3D graphics with the 3D backgrounds. It looks gorgeous, especially with the dystopian future setting. It works for the detailed environments and the haunting visuals that the game is going for, especially when it comes to the boss battles. Just the way the lighting works, especially in certain areas. There are areas that's really dark, there's areas that are bright and vibrant. You can really feel like you're in this unique, distinct world that's really overrun by demons. And I really didn't have any frame rate issues. I only had one little hiccup. I would say a little bit of a frame rate drop, but then I realized I had another program open on my computer, and I obviously had to like shut it off or restart my computer. And everything was fine throughout the gameplay. I didn't have any real frame rate drops or issues such as that. But otherwise than that, I'll have to say graphic wise, it's a gorgeous looking game, really nice art style. So here is a little bit of the soundtrack so you can hear how the music sounds. Check it out.
位置情報と健康状態を記録しました。
Soundtrack complements the atmosphere perfectly. It does a great job of blending in this eerie melodies with adrenaline pumping tracks during its intense encounters, and it combines excellent sound effects, audio design, and it really enhances the game's experience overall. And I really did like the soundtrack as well. It's a mixture of genres in there, so you have a lot of rock, you have electronical music, you have kind of like this lo-fi vibe, easy to listening music for the headquarters. It does a great job of really immersing the audience and the gamers into the game. So I'm gonna give my final rating here. Of course, we do either buy it, wait for a sale, or skip it. Blade Chimera hands down gets a buy it. I had so much fun with this, especially using Lux, the abilities, the fact that you can warp to various locations by just opening the map and selecting a little box. It offers a variety of gameplay. It's challenging but fair. I highly recommend this. This is Justin from otakusandgeeks.com. What did you think of Blade Chimera? Comment below. Let me know. If you like what we did here, hopefully we earned your subscription. And if we did, please hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the notification bell. I will catch you on the next game review. Later days, my friends.